Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into the world of Narcotics Anonymous, specifically sponsorship. I've always been kind of curious, about how it all works, sponsors and sponsees, and the impact on recovery, those journeys.
Yeah.
So to guide us, we've got this pamphlet called Sponsorship Revised, straight from the NA Fellowship.
It's interesting, really, how the pamphlet tries to, break it all down. Sponsorship, that is.
Yeah.
Make it accessible, especially for anyone new to NA.
Right, like a roadmap.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is it goes beyond that. It's not just the mechanics. It talks about sponsorship as a two-way street, even a loving, spiritual, and compassionate relationship. Not what I expected initially.
And it's got all these, really powerful stories firsthand from NA members about their own experiences with sponsorship. Brings it to life.
Exactly. And we're going to be digging into those quotes, unpacking them, what they tell us about this whole relationship. But let's start basic. What is a sponsor in NA?
So according to the pamphlet, it's basically an NA member. Someone actively living the program, recovering, and willing to build a relationship, a special one, one-on-one, to support another member's journey.
So not just some formal thing. Sounds really personal.
Totally. And while a big part is working the 12 steps, sponsorship goes beyond that. Sharing experiences, guidance, being there for someone through the ups and downs of recovery.
And the pamphlet makes it clear a sponsor's not a therapist or a professional counselor, right?
Right.
It's more about one addict helping another, using their experience to give strength and hope.
Exactly. The pamphlet puts it beautifully.
Yeah.
The heart of NA beats when two addicts share the recovery. Not about being a professional, but the journey they share.
Yeah.
Understanding from experience.
Okay, so a sponsor's been there, gets it, but what's the support actually look like? What does a sponsor do?
So there's a few things, according to the pamphlet. First off, they share their stories, struggles, triumphs, all of it. Imagine how validating that is for someone new, to hear from someone who's been on a similar path.
Like a living example that recovery is possible, not alone in it.
Yeah, exactly. And beyond that, sponsors give objective, honest feedback, like a mirror, helping them see things clearer, even if it's hard.
That honesty part, that sounds crucial, especially early on, when denial's strong. We need that outside view to see our own blind spots.
Right on. There's this quote in the pamphlet that's perfect. Someone once asked, "Why do I need a sponsor?" The sponsor replied, "Well, it's pretty hard to spot self-deception by yourself."
Love it. So simple but true. We're too close to it sometimes to be objective.
Exactly. And sponsors also, they guide their sponsees through the 12 steps, help them understand each one, how it applies to them, break down principles, concepts, even the lingo. Can be overwhelming for newcomers.
Wow, that's a lot. I see why finding the right sponsor matters. What about the other side? What does the pamphlet say about the sponsee's responsibility?
It really emphasizes that sponsorship is like a two-way street. It's not just about, taking advice. It's active, participating, open communication.
So the sponsee isn't just sitting there. They got to engage.
Right. They're encouraged to keep in touch with their sponsor, be honest about their struggles, and be open to feedback, even when it's tough.
Sounds like work. But I can imagine the accountability helps, having that support.
Oh, absolutely. And there's this quote from a sponsee in the pamphlet really got to me. They said, "I rely on my sponsor to give me direction, a new perspective. At least she's a sounding board." Yeah. Sometimes just saying it out loud helps me see things differently.
That's so true. Even outside recovery, saying something out loud helps me process it differently. Having someone to talk to, it's valuable.
And here's where it gets interesting. The pamphlet says sponsees actually help their sponsors by using them.
Wait, how's that? How does the sponsee help the sponsor?
Giving back, staying connected to the NA principles. By helping others, sponsors practice what they preach. Strengthens their own recovery. It's that two-way street again.
Interesting. So it's not just the sponsee getting guidance. Sponsor benefits, too. It's reciprocal.
Exactly. That's a really beautiful part of sponsorship, I think. Both people growing, learning from each other.
Okay, we get what it involves. Roles, responsibilities. But practically, how do you find a sponsor?
Well, the pamphlet has advice. And it's worth saying, asking someone to be your sponsor, it can be, nerve-wracking, especially if you're new to NA, vulnerable.
I bet. Takes courage to ask for that support.
Definitely. But the pamphlet says go to meetings, events, connect with potential sponsors, get involved, get to know people.
So not just the first person who offers. You look for a connection, trust.
Right. They say look for someone trustworthy, compassionate, and actively living the program. Also,
Yeah.
maybe someone with more clean time, similar experiences.
Makes sense. Shared understanding helps you open up, trust the process. What about gender, does it say?
It does. Often, same-sex sponsor can be good. Create a safe space, where you're comfortable sharing openly.
Compatibility is key. Not just anyone, but the right person for you.
Absolutely. There's even a quote, someone who treated it like an interview, assessing compatibility expectations.
Mm.
They said, when I picked my sponsor, I looked at it like an interview. Are we a match? What are your expectations and what are mine? I looked for someone open-minded who I felt comfortable talking to.
I like that. Proactive, takes the pressure off, not locked into anything.
Right. And they make it clear it's okay to say no if someone offers, and okay to change sponsors later if it's not working.
Good to know. It's a process, not a contract.
Yeah. They also say avoid sponsors who might lead to, romantic or sexual attraction. Important point.
Makes sense. Boundaries are key, especially in this kind of relationship.
For sure. Focus on recovery is most important. And it does mention having multiple sponsors, but notes some downsides.
Oh, like what are the downsides of having multiple sponsors?
They say it can lead to looking for specific answers or playing sponsors off each other.
So keeping that one-on-one strong. Trust, accountability.
Exactly.
Mm.
Okay, so we talked about finding a sponsor, but what about the timing? When's the right time to actually get one?
That's a great question. Is there a specific point in recovery when it's best? That's a great question. Is there a specific point in recovery when it's best?
It's interesting. The pamphlet actually gives two different views. Some people, they say get a sponsor ASAP, like a lifeline early on, when it's all fragile.
Mm-hmm.
There's even this quote compares it to drowning. Getting a sponsor is the life preserver. That crucial.
Wow, that's intense. I get it, that need for connection right away.
Yeah. But they also say some folks, they want to take time first, get to know people in the program before picking a sponsor.
So no hard answer. Depends on the person, what feels right.
That's what's great about NA. Individual paths, but connection and support are huge.
Right.
And it kind of leads into the pamphlet's final message.
What's the takeaway then? What do they leave you with?
It says sponsorship helps people feel connected, supported, like they've finally come home. That belonging, it's powerful in recovery.
It's being seen, heard, right. So important when things are tough, especially with addiction.
And the pamphlet does both.
Mm.
The practical stuff, how to find a sponsor, what they do, but also that feeling, the connection part.
It does, yeah. It's interesting it mentions there's a whole book on this, published by NA, sponsorship, how it works, if anyone wants to really dig in after our deep dive here.
Totally. Add it to the list.
Even just from this pamphlet, we've learned a lot.
For sure. What defines a sponsor, what both sides do, even finding the right one.
And that power, that connection for both people.
Yeah, it makes you think. Helping someone else, it helps you stay clean too. What do you make of that?
I mean, it makes sense, right? You get what you give, helping others, the sponsors living it, those NA principles, strengthens their own recovery. It's like teaching is the best way to learn. Got to know it yourself to explain it.
Exactly. Applies to recovery too, I think. Sharing your story, the tough parts, the good parts, solidifies it, within yourself.
Maybe it's even more than that. Does helping others, does that help you grow, give you purpose, fuel your own recovery?
Oh, definitely. Imagine knowing you're making a difference for someone.
Yeah.
It's huge. Gives you hope, reason to stay committed to yourself.
So it's not separate journeys, it's together, each person supporting the other.
It shows how connected we are, right? We all have something to give, and we all need help.
Powerful message for anyone listening, thinking about getting a sponsor or being one. You're not alone.
You've got a whole community. This pamphlet, it's just the start. There's that whole book, Sponsorship, How It Works, if you want to go deeper.
Add it to the list. Even with just this, we've got some great insights.
What defines a sponsor, those responsibilities, even finding the right one.
And that transformation, that connection. For both sides.
Powerful reminder. Sometimes helping others, that's how we heal and grow ourselves. So thinking about this two-way street, how do you think helping someone stay clean, how does that strengthen the sponsor's resolve?
That's something to think about. And for everyone listening, keep exploring, keep learning, keep connecting. Recovery is a journey, and we don't have to do it alone.
That's it for our deep dive on sponsorship in NA. Until next time, keep seeking, keep connecting, keep the conversation going.